Welcome back for episode 43 of the Blacksburg Buzz. Today we're covering part 2 of the Virginia Tech 2024 Hall of Fame class. We've got four more athletes. There was 8 in total, and we went over the first four in part 1. It was Jeff Artis Gray, Larson Bowker, Brittany Pryor, and Dave Cianelli. And then today we've got Heather Savage, Logan Shinholzer, Dwayne Brown, and Tyrod Taylor coming up. So let's go ahead and jump into today's four. First one, Heather Savage, a women's swim athlete from 2010 to 2013. And she's the first athlete ever on the women's swim team to earn All American status. So obviously, that's a huge deal for Virginia Tech. The first one in program history to reach that. She got the award twice. So a two-time All American, two-time ACC champion as well, and she holds the 100-meter butterfly program record. She was absolutely dominant in 2012 to 2013. She won 18 out of 23 events she participated in and was undefeated in the 100-meter butterfly. Just a crazy season from her and a really great career overall with Virginia Tech. And then kind of staying along with the pool, our next athlete that reached Virginia Tech Hall of Fame status in 2024. It's Logan Shinholzer on the men's dive team from 2009 to 2013. The most decorated diver ever at Virginia Tech. Four-time All-American, the only Virginia Tech men's dive championship, and made it to the 2012 Olympic trials. So just an impressive resume from Logan Shinholzer. He qualified for the NCAA championships in 2010 as a true freshman. That's just huge. I mean, you're talking one of the best in the sport as a true freshman in college, making the NCAA championship. Just qualifying from that is incredible. Just a great feat by itself and really tough to do. I mean, you're talking about a very limited number of athletes here, and this is a true freshman from Virginia Tech making that impressive stuff from him. So, two fantastic pool sport athletes right here. Now, before we get into our next athlete, I want to talk about today's video sponsor. You guessed it, it's Bet Online. Bet Online, it's your number one source for the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals this season. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use the promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, the game starts here. And then we get into the football. Two football players, Dwayne Brown, an athlete on the football team from 2004 to 2007, two-time All ACC, two-time ACC champion, the seventh Virginia Tech player ever drafted in the first round of the NFL draft. He went to Houston, and he was only the second offensive lineman in Virginia Tech history to be drafted in the first round as well. And in the pros, he had a lot of success as well. Five-time Pro Bowler, three-time All Pro between the first and second teams. I mean, this is some impressive stuff. Dwayne Brown was the man on the O line. I mean, first round of the NFL draft, that is a big deal out of Virginia Tech. So Dwayne Brown, he had a lot of success in Houston with the Texans for about a decade and then spent a couple years with the Seattle Seahawks and then moved over to the New York Jets for a little bit. So he bounced around between those three teams and had a really good career for himself. He started all 16 games in 2008, which was a big feat for the Texans. He did the same thing in 2009, and he was really good for the Texans. And then went over to the Seahawks and the Jets after that. So uh, he didn't play in 2024, but back in 2023, he did play in 5 games. He started in 3 of them for the Jets. So successful career there for him. But for Virginia Tech, I mean, this guy was a menace on the O line. There's a reason he was drafted 26th overall, the 7th player in Virginia Tech history in the first round. I mean, he was a problem out there, a great blocker, and he was a big piece of some of these teams. He was around for Tyrod's first season as a freshman, where, Virginia Tech had a lot of success that year. In the 2007 season, Virginia Tech, they won the ACC. They beat Boston College in the ACC championship game. And then in the Orange Bowl, they lost, but still a lot of success. They were ranked pretty high that year. I believe they peaked at 5 and finished around number 9 in the country. But, a great season overall. And a lot of that can be attributed to Dwayne Brown. When you have such a dominant, offensive lineman like Brown was, you have a guy that can really lock it down on the front line. It just makes everything so much better. I mean, you've got holes for your backs to run through. Your quarterback has time to move and doesn't feel the pressure constantly. So, Dwayne Brown, a huge part of the Hokies' success that year. I mean, we're talking an all ACC honoree in that season, and he was a big key contributor to this team and the success they had that year. I mean, 11-3, that he was a big part of that. So Dwayne Brown, really great career at Virginia Tech, and then a nice pro career as well. So, I'm not surprised he's getting into the Virginia Tech football, or I'm not surprised he's getting into the Virginia Tech Sports Hall of Fame. Certainly a deserving candidate, and glad to see another Hokie join the crew with, some of the most talented Virginia Tech sports athletes ever. And I think Dwayne Brown deserves to be there. And then it's my guy. It's my favorite guy. Tyrod Taylor is getting in the 2024 class on the football team from 2007 to 2010. Talked about him a little bit with Dwayne Brown, but that was his true freshman year. And Tyrod Taylor was just the man when I was growing up. You're sitting there on Saturdays, watching the Hokies play. I got my number 5 jersey on. I was about 7, 8, 9 years old when Tyrod Taylor was with Virginia Tech. And, that was really when I started getting into things and watching football and watching sports and whatnot. I started like actually understanding it and all that. And, just seeing Tyrod and the Hokies excel, it was awesome. I mean, he was electric at quarterback, and he's been a fantastic person that when you look at Virginia Tech, he's a great ambassador for the school. He comes back and he's been around, he comes to events, and he's had a successful pro career as well. So just everything surrounding Tyrod Taylor, you know, he's a great ambassador for Virginia Tech, and it's awesome to see him getting into the Virginia Tech Sports Hall of Fame. A 3-time ACC champion with the Hokies, 2010 ACC Player of the Year. He also got the championship game MVP in 2010. 2009 Orange Bowl champ. They also made it to that 2008 Orange Bowl, and this guy did it all. He was fantastic with them. I mean, he's got good legs, he's got a good arm. Tyrod Taylor was the dude when I was growing up. A 34-8 record. He has the most wins by starting quarterback in program history. He's second in passing yards with 7,017, second in total yards with 9,213 yards. drafted in 2011 to Baltimore. They won the Super Bowl. He started for the Bills for a few years. He made the 2015 Pro Bowl. We saw him play for the Giants a little bit this season, and he had a couple great games. He he really has done a little bit of everything. He's been kind of all over in the pro circle. He's moved around quite a bit, and he's had some flashes as a starter, and he's been around as a backup and whatnot. He's had to deal with some injury issues as well. Just some bad luck and misfortune. But Tyrod Taylor is one of the greatest Hokies that we've ever seen in the game. I mean, he was just so fun to watch, and being you know, 22 years old. I wasn't around when Michael Vick was there. So, Tyrod Taylor was he was just the guy I grew up on. He was the electric Virginia Tech quarterback that was around through my lifetime, and seeing him excel and succeed at the pro level, excel and succeed at Virginia Tech with the Hokies, and then he comes back. He comes to stuff. He was at the ACC tournament for basketball. Some of the sports media students were able to speak with him and do a quick interview with him. I was busy at the time, unfortunately, and he's showed up to some Sons of Saturday events. He was at the spring game, talking and mingling and whatnot. Tyrod Taylor, just he's a great pick for the 2024 Virginia Tech Sports Hall of Fame. He's done everything. He's excelled at the college level, he's excelled at the pro level. He's had two great careers there, and he's still out on the field to this day. And then the fact that he comes back, he talks to guys, and he's around for games and whatnot. He isn't just a guy that played for the Hokies. He's a guy that comes back, and he keeps coming back, and he lets you know that he loves this school and he appreciates everything with Virginia Tech, and it's obvious of that. And we as Hokies appreciate it as well, because we were so happy to see him, succeed and do great things in the NFL, to do great things off the field as well. And to have a guy that, sees that and appreciates the fans, and he comes back and he takes pictures, he meets people, he mingles and whatnot. It really does mean a lot to the Virginia Tech community. And there's a reason that I would say he's one of the more beloved football players for the Hokies over my lifetime, because he does succeed and he does come back and he does show that appreciation really well. And, I'm so happy to see him in the 2024 Virginia Tech Sports Hall of Fame class. Like, he's my favorite player. I grew up on him, and, seeing him do awesome things with Tech just at the perfect age where I was getting into football, I was getting into Virginia Tech really, because I was at that 7, 8, 9 years old when you kind of start watching things, sitting down with mom and dad and my little brother, who was, like basically a baby at that time, and watching the games, and my uncles, and, I had my jersey on, and, my Virginia Tech shorts or whatever. It was just a fun time, and he was a fun player to be able to support, and just it's so I'm so happy for him. It makes me really happy to see the success he's had, to see how he had, that couple of weeks where the Giants were trying to figure some things out, and they put him in and he performed really well for them. He had some great games with the Giants this year, and seeing him do that, it just makes me so happy to see, my favorite player do that. It's been awesome. So that concludes our 2024 Virginia Tech Sports Hall of Fame class. Once again, it's Jeff Artis Gray, Larson Bowker, Brittany Pryor, Dave Cianelli, Heather Savage, Logan Shinholzer, Dwayne Brown, and Tyrod Taylor. 8 phenomenal athletes and coaches getting into the Virginia Tech Sports Hall of Fame. Some very, very deserving careers. and, tons of accolades across the 8 of them. You're looking at well into the double digit ACC champions. You're looking at about a million All American honors and, school records, all ACCs, player of the years, MVPs, drafts, Olympic trials, all kinds of stuff between the 8 of them. A very deserving class. Excited to see all of them get, you know, just get an award and the honors for all the hard work they put in for Virginia Tech. And, you know, they did their part in making this school what it is and showing the world that Virginia Tech sports can be awesome and they can do great things at Virginia Tech, that the Hokies can accomplish whatever they dream up. So, once again, congratulations to these 8 and their phenomenal careers with the Hokies and their careers after as well. Now, that's all we've got with those. I did want to recap a couple other things real quick. There were 2 women's basketball uh, players that we were kind of thinking might come to Virginia Tech. I got a couple of bat signals, if you will, from some Twitter accounts that I was seeing, but unfortunately, both players decided to go elsewhere. Liza Carlin is going to Notre Dame. That was one of Megan Duffy's big players at Marquette, and was kind of hoping she might transfer over, follow the head coach, but she's going to Notre Dame. And let me tell you, Notre Dame is going to be a problem next year. They were already really tough to get past this year. That is a great team, and they just added another great player. I mean, with Carlin, Hidalgo, and the rest of the crew, they are going to be very talented, and they just got even better than they were. And then the other player I wanted to mention was Cameron Kitchen, who just recently committed to UVA a couple days ago. Thought she might go to VT. Her and Kate Sears, they played together throughout like high school and such. So thought maybe they might want to try and play together in college, go with Duffy to the Hokies. We landed Sears a little while ago. I think it was last week, and was thinking maybe Kitchen might follow her, but she decided to go to the rival UVA. So that would be a really fun rivalry to watch going into the future. You've got 2 players that played together, before college, and now they're going to rival schools in the same state. That'll be really fun to keep up with as their careers develop in college. So definitely be on the lookout for that in 2 to 3 years, because I think that's going to be a lot of fun. But Cameron Kitchen's going to UVA. Virginia Tech was in her, top few schools, but decided to go elsewhere. I think maybe it could have something to do with the fact that Virginia Tech's roster looks a little bit guard heavy. So maybe just Kitchen being another guard, she didn't want, you know, to be in such a guard heavy team and, add one more into the mix and then have to fight for playing time and all that with everyone. So I think that's one reason that, she may have decided on UVA. But regardless, Kitchen to UVA and Carlin to Notre Dame. Unfortunate for Virginia Tech, but they've still built a great team for the next few years that I'm excited to see. So that's all we've got for you today. Make sure you tune in next week. We'll have some more great content coming out for you. But until then, stay tuned in for the buzz.